My 29F friend, let's call her Emily, 32F, is an amazing person. She's fun, adventurous, intelligent, super active, a fantastic cook, outgoing, and just a great girl to be around. A few years ago she decided not to shave any more legs, armpits, female areas, out of protest to the patriarchy, resulting in her having very long dark hair everywhere. A few days ago, we were having a beer and she told me how sad her dating life was, that she kept meeting guys and having very fun dates but never got a callback, or when she tried asking for a second or third date, got rejected in a very generic manner. Now after telling her you're so gorgeous and wonderful, the right man will come, don't worry multiple times, I decided to go out on a limb and said something along the lines of, I know this is a very superficial thing to say, but do you think it might help a little if you would shave? She was very taken aback and told me she was disappointed I would suggest she change her appearance for men and that I was the reason so many women were suppressed. I immediately apologized, but the evening was pretty much ruined. I texted her the next day apologizing again for hurting her, but she hasn't replied. I really did not want to hurt her, but I also don't quite see how my comment was that bad, so I am not sure how to phrase my apology. So decided to take it here and ask people here how big of an idiot I am. She has the right not to shave, and the men she dates have the right to think it's gross. People are attracted to what they are attracted to. That's just reality. If she wants a man who doesn't mind that she doesn't shave, that will be a much smaller percentage of the male dating pool, and it will be more difficult for her to find a partner. If she was asking for your advice and you were trying to help her, then not the idiot. Especially because you are likely right and the hair is the reason the men are not staying. I think it's silly that she is mad at you for just stating the obvious truth. Editing to add. After thinking about this more, I am thinking that yes, the guys don't like the hair, but the fact that she has it is probably really a symptom of her personality and outlook on life and general opinions, and those things are probably the even bigger turn off for these guys. And I will also now add, since some people are assuming things, that I am not saying that the men are right to have this view of her, or that I agree with that view. I am merely pointing out that based on my lifelong observations of guys, a general average aversion to that type of viewpoint. I don't shave to fight the patriarchy, maybe why some guys aren't staying. You may not like that, but that is the reality we live in. There are guys out there who won't feel that way, and that is who she would likely prefer. You're the idiot, not shaving is a value statement. She is looking for a partner in life that has the same values. By telling her to shave, you are telling her to change her values just to get a man. Instead of saying don't worry you will find the right man, why not say it's better that these wrong men are screened out than be with one of them that doesn't value the same things you do. Now that would be miserable, compromising your values. Being single is not the end of the world. You're the idiot. I think you're going to get some angry responses because a lot of people in this subreddit assume everyone posting is a man, so of course you're going to be accused of supporting the patriarchy. I think you're probably right that some of the guys she has gone out with are put off by her body hair. However, she likely doesn't want the kind of guy who would see body hair as a deal breaker. She also didn't ask for your advice. It sounds like she was just venting. Let your friends vent and just listen. You don't have to offer advice. You can just offer support. Update. I am absolutely overwhelmed by the amount of reactions this got. Thank you all so much for your well-worded answers and for your input. Emily messaged me yesterday evening asking if we could talk about the whole thing, and we had a phone call. She started by apologizing for her reaction and for the things she said to me. I told her that I wanted her to know that I and many others love her for who she is, and the last thing I wanted was to suggest that she change herself for a guy. Another important piece of advice I got here was to make sure she actually was asking for my opinion and not just venting, so I told her that I was very worried I had given her unsolicited advice. Thankfully she didn't see it that way. She told me I had always been a loyal friend who had her back, and she always had valued my advice, which was why she was so taken aback by my comment. I told her that what I should have said is that I feel like in the past, she has been attracted to men who don't necessarily share her values, and that she might need to be more clear with her dating choices and first make sure they align with her values to avoid being disappointed. She also agrees with this, and we really had a great conversation after that. I've been with my wife for 8 years. We have 2 children, a 5-year-old daughter and a 2-year-old son. I've known since my wife got pregnant that there was a possibility our daughter wasn't my biological child. I don't care. She's my daughter and my wife has never been unfaithful. However, I don't want to know if she is or she isn't biologically related to me, and I've never wanted to know. My wife and I were together for around 2 years when we had a fight and broke up. We were broken up for 3 months, during which we both slept with other people, and then we got back together. After approx 2 months of being back together, my wife found out she was pregnant. We knew there was a possibility of one other man being the biological father, and it was a toss-up between him and me, but it was more likely to be mine. My wife was honest with me that she'd slept with other people when we got back together, and I was equally honest, and the window of conception for our daughter was just large enough that we couldn't say for sure if she was conceived when we were together or apart, and while she offered to get our daughter tested, I didn't want to know. My entire family was aware we broke up and got back together. Visibly, she looks like her mother. Same dark hair, same dimples, same bone structure, and I see bits of myself in her, too, mainly in her mannerisms, with the only part that doesn't match up being her eyes, which are brown, while mine are green and my wife's are blue. Meanwhile, my son, with his green eyes, blonde hair, and bone structure, looks like I cloned myself and looks very different from his dark-haired, dark-eyed sister. My mother has noticed and remarks on it often. This really gets my wife's hackles up, both because of the reality behind that, which my mother is unaware of, and because she and my mother have clashed a few times in the past. They are very different people, and their personalities just don't mix. Then a few months ago my wife's sister and my best friend, they're married, got into a car accident. They were in the hospital with one of their 3 kids, while the other 2 were home alone, so we asked my mother to watch our kids while we helped them out. Our kids were with her and my dad for about 5 hours. Last week Mum came over and said she had something important to tell me. When she had my daughter unsupervised, she did one of those DNA test kits on my daughter, comparing it to her own DNA, which she apparently ordered months ago for this exact purpose and was waiting to use. And it confirmed my daughter isn't biologically related to me, and she began to tell me about a lawyer she could get me in touch with to begin divorce proceedings. I told her this changes nothing, she's still my daughter and that's my wife she's talking about. Mum was shocked and called my wife some names I don't care to repeat. I told her to get out of my house. It's been nearly a week. I've told my wife, blocked my mother on everything, and there's been constant calls and texts. My mother is furious I never told her that I had an inkling and has since disowned my daughter, but says my son is still her special little guy, so she wants a relationship with my son, but not my daughter. In addition to my mother, all 5 of my siblings, 3 sisters, 2 brothers, and dad are angry with me. They want me to get back in touch, and a couple of them have even said I should thank Mum for what she did as she was looking out for me, and now I know. However, I can't justify my mother going behind my back to get a DNA test on my daughter without consulting me. I feel I'm in the right, but I also feel I could be overreacting, and I would appreciate another perspective as I'm seriously considering cutting contact with my mother over this. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. This was your choice and had nothing to do with your mother. She did this solely to hurt your wife. If you allow your mother to have a relationship with your son while not having one with your daughter, you'd be a terrible father. Blood doesn't make a father. Not the idiot. Your mom overstepped so much, there just aren't words. Also a side note. I know you don't care about your daughter's paternity, but if your mom ordered a mitochondrial DNA test, which used to be a little bit cheaper and is sometimes an option for grandparent testing, your daughter would show as unrelated even if she was related because it compares DNA that is passed on from mother to daughter. Not the idiot. Blood isn't family. You have accepted her and treated her as your own. Hopefully, your parents and siblings will realize this if you cut her out. On a future note, when she gets older it would be best if your daughter hears that she is not blood related from you. Your family might continue to be idiots and somehow get to her and drop the ball.